Hello, bookworms of Concord. Pastor Beckett here with a book review. Today I am reviewing Making Christian Counseling More Christ-Centered by the Reverend Rick Mars. Now, Dr. Mars actually gave me a free signed copy of this book for helping him sell copies of it at the Missouri District's 2019 All Pastors Conference while I was on vicarage. I'm glad for it because when I didn't have the time to take his electives at the seminary on the subject of pastoral care, this book makes up for lost time. I read it a couple months ago. So whether you're before a pastor or a Christian counselor, the counselee is in dire need of the gospel because of the guilt or shame that they feel. Secular counselors all too often ignore these feelings. This is according to Dr. Mars from his vast professional experience. Secular counselors all too often ignore these feelings, and if they don't miss it, it is ultimately insufficient, since the gospel of Jesus Christ is obviously missing, who alone can fully remove their guilt or shame, or both in some cases. Other counselees receive more law from their counselor or pastor because these soul care givers, or Seelsorgers in the German, lack the vital theological paradigm Mars lays forth in this book, the practice of law and gospel. That famous brilliant Lutheran paradigm that really Luther kind of formulated, but C.F.W. Walther kind of compiled together in his treatise, Law and Gospel. If you haven't read that, or you're not familiar with Law and Gospel, either pick that up by C.F.W. Walther or simply read this, because he goes through Law and Gospel for you. So now Dr. Mars's expertise in Christian counseling as both a pastor and a professional counselor is really invaluable in this book. In section B of the book, Mars delineates this theological paradigm of law and gospel that is extremely edifying for non-Lutherans unfamiliar with it, and is an excellent reminder for seasoned Lutherans, whether you're a pastor, a Christian counselor, or some other professional church worker. Even if you think you have the law gospel paradigm down, don't skip this section, section B. It is the whetstone for your own practice and understanding. After all, we never truly perfect the art of law and gospel. We are not infallible doctors of this prescription. We perennially remain students and patients of law and gospel ourselves. So Mars aptly begins this section B, with theological anthropology, that is, our creatureliness, into using the theology of the cross, paradoxes, the proper distinction between law and gospel, and other helpful theological frameworks for soul care. In section C, Mars provides some practical techniques in how the soul caregiver might apply law and gospel and the other theological paradigms he covers. What techniques to use when they turn their faith into a work, or when they cling to a theology of glory, and other struggles. All these techniques are extremely edifying, and I've used some of them before in my own pastoral care work, thanks in part to my training at the seminary. But there are definitely some new ones I personally will be putting into my own pastoral care. And there are also, lastly, helpful appendices in the book, in the back of the book, to guide non-Lutheran pastors and counselors in understanding the Lutheran paradigm of law and gospel, as well as our biblical views on the sacraments. I would place this book as a must-read for all pastors and counselors, regardless of your religion or denomination, because if you're not a Christian or religious counselor and you're atheist, reading this book will help you to will better help your counselees who are Christian, and it will aid you in pointing them back to their own religion and the comforts of the gospel which they believe. So again, 5 out of 5 stars. This book was great. But for some reason though, I don't know if it's just the copy of the book I got. A lot of these pages started falling out like that. So I think that's just a publisher issue. But yeah, so making Christian counseling making Christian counseling more Christ-centered. Definitely recommend it. Pick it up, add it to your bookshelf, your arsenal of pastoral care. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.